So Secret of the Mimic came out yesterday on Switch, and it has been a very fun experience so far. I've gotten and beaten the nurse section, and that's as far as I've gotten since yesterday. So I'd like to give a short review on the Switch version, and not so much on the game, just because there's already so many good reviews out there that people have made. So I'm just going to be reviewing the Switch port and talking about the graphics and the frames and a little bit about the controls. So first I'd like to talk a bit about the graphics, and I mean, they are for sure the worst out of all the other systems that you can play Secret of the Mimic on. But I mean, they are okay, and it's not unplayable. It's basically what you would expect from a Switch 1 port. For the frames per second, it is also what you would expect from a Switch port, and that is 30 frames per second. It's once again playable and honestly not that bad. I don't know if it's because I'm just used to these Switch ports being ported to the Switch and then being 30 frames per second. You don't need a bunch of frames for a game like this, but it would have really been nice if they had to put it somewhere around 60 instead of 30. Because overall, it does just make the game more enjoyable. Next, I'd like to talk about the controls. Controls feel a bit weird at first because the game seemed to be made with keyboard mouse controls like in mind over everything else. So certain things like turning the crank, shooting the targets, and starting generators can feel weird because you're supposed to move the mouse clockwise for cranks. For shooting targets, you are just supposed to aim it good, which is easy to do with the mouse. And starting generators, you're supposed to pull it back and forth. And it feels a bit awkward, but you'll get used to it. The next thing isn't really a Secret of the Mimic issue, but it's more of a Nintendo, and their analog sticks on the Joy-Cons are absolute garbage. Sticks are pretty annoying for things like trying to aim precisely, like for instance, at the big top section where you have those mini games that you're supposed to shoot the targets with. Those are just aim around it and hope you get lucky, basically. And Foxy's play scene, there's targets everywhere. That's really annoying to try to do on the analog sticks on the Switch. It's not a huge deal, but it's probably the most annoying thing I've encountered on this port. But if you have a Switch Pro controller, that helps a lot because those sticks are way better. Next, I'd just like to say that Steel Wool handled the loading times a lot better than the Security Breach port. And I'm guessing the main reason for that is the game is a lot smaller than Security Breach. But the times that it does need to load, it feels a lot more natural rather than in Security Breach. Because Security Breach, Helpy would show up just randomly and give this stupid loading icon in the bottom right corner that was just really annoying. But this, they implemented it so much better in Secret of the Mimic. Like, you're going into a new area, so it makes sense that it needs to load. But in Security Breach, you'd just be walking around in the same place, and then it would pop up that stupid Helpy icon. So it just seems a lot better. Overall, I think they did a pretty good job porting this game to Switch. And like, I mean, the Switch is like 8 years old now, so they did what they could. There's not much you can do with the Switch port, I feel like, these days, because it's getting to be an old console. But if you'd like to see some gameplay of Secret of the Mimic on the Switch, click the related video.